This is one system. It's called the Revenue Accelerator. It is a system I work with, but I am just going to kind of help. We'll see what we go here. First of all, I'm going to go up here. Uh-oh, I got to log in again. Okay. I'm going to go up here, business rules. And this is where you kind of set it up. But here's where I want to go over to first. We call these categories. And basically what this is this is an outline of your organization. Every position, every responsibility that you have within the organization. So you go over here, let's see, let's go HR here. Human resources. We've got corporate handbook, new hire forms, organizational roles, responsibilities. These are, if you can take your organization and break it down into categories like this, it helps you to set up a skeleton. So you've got some place to find stuff. Because you can imagine, you've got how many employees there?
30.
Yeah, and how many different positions? Okay, so if you had all of that created and in here, you'd want to be able to find it somehow. And this is a way that you can find those pieces. So when we're bringing on that new warehouse manager that's from outside the industry, we can quickly create their system. Now imagine that. A manager knows that that person's coming on board and can set up a 6-week onboarding program in an hour.
What kind of program is this?
This is Revenue Accelerator, and basically it's a platform. You plug everything into it. But we start by outlining the organization. Let's close that. And I'm going to do this very quickly because there's a lot of stuff in here. Now this, I'll just briefly say what this is. Now we can keep getting this shows, this is set up for sales. But it shows all the different, we have inside, outside, and outside sales, and outside internal promotion, outside new hire, outside within the industry. But it shows they've got a 10 or 12 week, and it shows, are they active? Did they complete it? Is it done? Do I need an alert? Do I need to have a conversation here? So they're assigned things for the first, second, third, fourth week. Are they getting them done or not? This is a feedback loop.
I see just the ones and zeros, so is it kind of like...
Yeah, it isn't, yeah. It's either, is it active? Yes. See, there's one are active. Compliance alert, there's a compliance alert in each one because this was just kind of set up and nobody's done it. So you see, but this gives you an alert. So management doesn't have to say, well, I wonder what's happening with that new guy. Well, he's either gotten it done or hasn't it. He's either been involved in the system or he's not. So this is a way to do that. Here I want to go to expectations. And we use the word wizard here, but it breaks it down to what do they need to know. And for example, you can pre-populate. And I'll just go over here. Let's take company history. And what it did is now you can see company history down here. Oh. This thing is a little too sensitive, but company history. I want them to know the company history. Right? That's pretty much everybody across the board probably, unless they're an internal promotion. I can go down here and I can describe what is that. Well, it's the history of how Dakota Paper got started and who the owners were and kind of their stories. So you've got them able to tell your story, and maybe from first day, whatever it is, but you can assign that. You can develop initiatives. You can say, be able to tell the company story. You can go in there and, again, you can add as many initiatives as you want in here. And I'm going to go through this quick because it takes a long time to explain all these. And I'll take them out of there. Everything is editable. I can create a component. Now to tell you what a component is, I'm going to say, here's the title. Whoop. I can go to my categories, sales operations, CRM. I can come up here, corporate handbook, organization rules and responsibilities. I can put it any place I want. I can go in here and put a description in. This is what this is about. This is about helping the new person to understand the culture and the history of the company. If I go down, here I can put the directions in. Watch this video, read this history, take this quiz. Go talk to this person. I can give those kinds of instructions to them so they know what to do. Here I can put in web links, I can upload all kinds of attachments, and again I can add, just by clicking the add here, I can put as many links in there as I need. Might be to YouTube, it might be to our corporate hosting website, it might be to something else, it might be to our suppliers, could be anything. So we can make as many of these as we need. And we can then, when we save it, it goes to either the component or wherever we want it in that outline. So I'm kind of ahead of the...
Once you create all these things, you don't have to
recreate them. And if you need to adapt or adjust, you go back in and edit. Just those that you need.
Unlike having a pre-ring binder on the wall.
Yes. Yes. And the interesting thing is there is so much out there that it's available. So we call this a wizard, and what I like about this is your working outline. If I want to create something for a salesperson, I can create a program for the salesperson. If I want to create it for a warehouse person, I do that. If I want to create it for a tech, I do that. And then I can add or subtract or change things within the components or the components I use based on if they're in the industry, out of the industry, whatever that variation is.
So a new trainee then, or a new person that you bring in, they're logging onto this site.
Yes. Yep. And you as the manager can say, Joe is coming on, here's what I need to have him do the first week, the second week, the third week, the fourth week. All of a sudden the fire hose isn't there. Plus you can test them on it and have them do other things that you can work with. One of my heating and air conditioning clients has them come in, go through a lot of the remedial stuff about installing a furnace and seeing video pictures, testing them, basic knowledge, that kind of thing. And then when it comes to do, they have to go out into their shop and they actually have to install the furnace within a given time frame, kind of the test. So now they know, do we actually have the knowledge to do this? Okay. But they give them the knowledge first through this process, so now when they're out there actually doing it, their success rate has gone up quite significantly because the people actually now know what's going on. Here's a nice thing, you can get input. Dave is working on a component or a piece. He needs Keith to approve it or get his input. You don't have to go to Keith's office. You can email him. It gives him the code, takes him right to the piece you've been working on. He can evaluate it. You can control what he can do. If I go down, you can see down here, I can say he can create an edit. I can tell him, no, you can't. You can only comment. Nope, you can't do that either. You can only view. So Dave, you got control. See, so you can do things with that. So it's a system that helps keep it in.
So with this, as an example, let's say we hire somebody for our sales service department. There's a sales service manager who would want to be in charge of what goes on here, but I still want to be able to go in and make sure things are happening.
Yes. They can, and actually you can be notified when that new person has completed a component, or Dave, or you can have anybody or nobody within the organization notified, or as many or as few as you need to. If Brad doesn't need to know about that, he doesn't go on the list. That maybe he needs to know about what the guy's doing in the second week, so then you would put Brad notified on that. So you can adjust this to things. If they're working on HR stuff, then HR department might want to be notified. But once that's done, then maybe HR doesn't care about have they gone through sales training or product training yet. Okay? So you can work with that so people are notified. And the nice thing about that is you can react to it very quickly. you know whether they're doing it or not. And so you've got more accountability built in for that new person.
So down the road, if you have, let's say you change procedures for whatever reason.
Sure.
With new software, and everybody needs to get up to speed on it, you could create something that remote people could still adapt.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, you could literally, if you wanted to, say there's a major upgrade, you could use a system like this or a platform like this as that training platform. So you create it once, get it out to everybody, and then you can monitor whether they've actually completed it or not and what you're doing with it. Let's see, where are we at? Create the wizard, get input. We go back to create the wizard. And again, the wizard here is basically your outline. Like I say, it's got the no. We do have some things that are pre here you can add some others if you want. It's completely flexible. What do you need them to do? Here's some examples. Set up an email, order business cards, modify the corporate presentation, create a proposal. But you can add whatever you want. So it's completely flexible. Go down to do. Well, can they run the copier, handle the phone system, run the CRM? Okay. And again, here you can test to see are they actually capable of doing it. So it gives you that feedback. There's a lot here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because usually our demonstrations on these take a full hour. So just giving you a quick idea. Let me see here. Go back. Here's curriculum. We call that. And here we have programs this is for the salesperson, this is for the warehouse, this is for the tech. Break that down. We can create the program, we can get input. Component library, here I'll just give you a shot here of what that looks like. Here's your categories that we created first, the outline of the whole company. It's divided by that. So we can go up here, let's see which one I had. I think account management. Here we go. We have handling concerns. And here I can select, do I want to put that to my outside person? And I can collect that, and then I can assign it to them, to that program. So I can come through here and collect very easily.
And if you do that, then do they get some kind of email or something?
Yes. Yep. Can edit, can copy, can delete. All those types of things. If I go into edit, that's okay. That form is what we saw before. So you can get into these components and these different areas multiple ways. So it's pretty flexible that way. But try to make it easy. Let's go to assessment. Here, you can make questions. You can create multiple choice, true or false. You can have a maybe, C, you can do the none of the above, those types of things. I spent about an hour and a half last night putting together about 30 questions for my online sales course. And I set up scenarios and then have answers that really they have to think, because all the answers kind of sound like they should fit, but there's only one that should. So you can test to see have they got the thinking capability. You can view the exams, create the exams. Let's see here, question library.
When it comes to content of things they should know, obviously there's some things that you have in existence already. Can you shoot them outside this for them to go through that?
Yeah, if you've got things on your server, for example, now to do it. My whole sales program, all the videos are loaded on YouTube. So I would use that YouTube as my depository, and it's locked, so they have to have the link to get in there. You can't just go in and find it, but they have the link, so we can do that. They go onto your server, go onto somebody else's. You guys with suppliers, there's probably a lot of information on your supplier websites. You can probably utilize that. So, but here is just an example. Once a year, key accounts. How often should a salesperson conduct a business review with a customer, and why? Once a year because the boss says so. That's one answer. Whenever the customer asks for it, because they're always right. Once a year with key accounts to assure greater level of communications about about both of the businesses. And you notice that has a check mark, which is the right answer. But this might be an example of how you might create a question. You might be surprised how many pick A or B, even after they've read material. So that's one of the things. Let's go to feedback. And this is actually getting feedback on the system itself. Brad has finished onboarding now for the first 30 days, or even the first week. We want to find out what he thinks about the system. We can send a survey out to him that he can take. We can create that survey and get feedback. Is this system working or not? What does he like? What does he dislike about it? And so we can have that continuous improvement process going and take that feedback and say, you know what, that's a good idea. That's a good insight. We hadn't thought about that. Let's improve the system. Okay? So you can do that. So you can get that feedback. And this is where you can do that. And this is just a quick example. You know, they can rate it excellent, good, average, poor, whatever it is that you're asking about. Maybe it's what's the quality of the videos? Did I understand the written material? You know, what are your suggestions with that? Okay, let's go here. Let's go to resources. Here's the wizard, the reports. The gap analysis is, in the wizard you set up all your expectations. This is what I want this person to be able to know, do, and use within the first week or the first 6 months or whatever it is. Gap analysis is, you get a report back and says, here's where your gaps are. Here's where they're on target or exceeding, here's where they're not. And so you can go and adapt or coach or whatever you need to do to keep that person on track. Okay? And again, that can go to a lot of different utilizers there.
When you're working with this, who ultimately puts in all the information? That's always the issue.
Yeah.
Plenty of times where we bought software that's going to solve every problem. Can't get anybody who's got time to do what they're supposed to do.
That's where executive team has to be bought in. And then you need a project manager. I don't care who that is, but that project manager has to have the authority to tell the CEO to get his butt in gear on the project. Everybody has to be involved, and whoever puts that in, the project manager is probably not the one who's going to put it all in, because let's say that it's Sarah who's managing an admin outfit, doesn't understand what Dave wants in for your salespeople. Sure. See? Or Shannon needs a programmer. Well, that's completely different. She doesn't have that capability. So it has to go to Dave. Dave decides now, does he put it in, or does he get some of his people to put it in, how he does that, see? So it has to be an across the company project. You can't just dump it on one person and say, do this, because they have to have the authority and the input from everybody to do it. I guarantee you it will take you a minimum of a year. If you've got an onboard system now and you plug it into it, it'll still take you a year. If you're starting from zero, it'll still take you a year. But you have to, when I sat down with one of my clients and we had the executive team there, and I literally went around the table and said, how many hours per week are you going to commit to this, no matter what? And they each committed a given amount of time that they were going to work on the project.
Because you can't stop everything.
No. It has to be a priority, but you have to fit it in. You still have to run the business. And this is a long-term solution. Now, a year later, they're saying, wow, we're not spending anywhere near as much time onboarding people as we were before, and we're getting them up to speed faster. So the payback is there. It's just a matter of the time to put it in. And this is just one, and I'm really showing this just to give you an idea of what's out there. Because a lot of times people don't understand that something is out there. This is a participant. So we're going to have Shauna as our new person. We're going to put her name and her information in. We can even upload a photo. So when because Shauna's up in Canada Sarah gets her stuff and says, okay, who is Shauna? Well, oh yeah, I remember her. There's a picture. So there's some of those types of things, but you can get it, and you can also set who gets. Now it's just my name in there, but we could have everybody's name in there in the company and say who gets her reports, who gets her feedback. See? So we can set that up for each person, and we can have 1,000 participants in this system at any given time.
So is this a fee per person? Or is there a fee to buy the software? How does that
It's a license and per use. And I'm going to jump out of here, go back here, go back here. It is a fee per person, most of the different systems out there. And just to give you a quick idea of where this comes from, Lee Saul's, this is his product, that Lee has spent the last 20 years doing this for companies, particularly sales organizations. And he started with paper and then technology, and then finally with technology got to where it is today, he could actually put this together. So
remember our 3 books, Bypassing No, Body Language and Influence Language to Get More Yeah, The Selling Gap, Modern Day Selling Ideas for Today's Market, Business Expert's Guide to Business Success, Learning How to Build Your Business Through Expert. All 3 are available at Amazon or our website at AskHG.com.